I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, this is going to be a two-part blog. I'm going to do another one later this month. As I speak, we're into mid-February here. The stats just came out from the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board for January. I'll get into that in the next video. Of course, it's the same story that I told you guys about last month. Record low inventory here. Sales up, inventory running at a 30-year low for the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board. I was talking to my dad about this. He was a realtor, retired now for over 50 years. He's never seen anything like this. I've never seen a market like this either. It's absolutely crazy right now. I'm a little on the tired side. I've been working probably 15-hour days here for the last 3 weeks. I've got a lot of listings that I've recently put out. I've got about 6 listings I'm going to be putting out over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And I've always got buying clients, investor clients that I'm working with. It's a tough market, especially if you're on the buying side. If you're on the listing side, and I'm fortunate enough that the majority of my business is still on the listing side, hey, it's a gravy train. You price it right, you market it properly, expose the property, showcase the property, show it for 8-9 days, and then look at offers. And if you've done all those things correctly, you should get into a multiple offer situation. Not so fun on the buying side. I will get to, I know you guys like these frontline stories. I had an interesting one last night that I'll tell you about. I'm an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. As you guys know, I like to be in bed by around 9:15. Although, 1 or 2 nights a week I've got offer night, either my own or I'm offering on something. I tend to do my offer nights, around 5, 6 o'clock, depending on where my client is located. But I had one last night. Offers weren't due until 8 p.m. And we made a good run at it. It went back and forth. We didn't wrap this up until 11 p.m. and I lost it, which I'm going to tell you guys about in a minute because it was interesting. But give you an update on condos. I am seeing now the condo market finally joining the party that the detached market entered into last spring of 2020, 2 springs ago, 2020. Coming out of COVID around April or May, as you guys know, that detached market took off and it never really looked back. Prices up substantially in the detached market. The condo market for the past 2 years hasn't done all that much, really. We had a sharp drop there for about a month and a half during COVID, and I blogged about the COVID sales, which quickly recovered within a couple of months, right back up to where probably at least 10 or 15% above where some of those COVID sales had sold for just a month or two earlier. Then early last year in 2021, in late winter, early spring, we saw a bit of an uptick in condo prices again there. Again, always low inventory. It's mostly always a seller's market for these good condos. Saw about a 2 or 3% price bump in condos, and then didn't do too much for the summer and into the early fall. Then at the end of last year, starting let's say in late November, again, I started to see an uptick in interest in the condo market again. Record low inventory, 5 or 6 buyers for every good condo, and multiple offers, of course, with limited inventory. Prices started to go up again. So I'm going to say, according to the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board, condo prices were up about 1.8% for the month of January. And that's probably right when you cast a wide net on everything. But remember, when you're looking at condos, you're looking at the prime ones that I'm going after with my clients on the buying side, mixed in with some of the not so good ones and the dogs. So I would say that since late November, early December, I have seen a price surge on the good quality downtown Vancouver condos of about 6 to 7% across the board, and in some cases even a little bit more. I'm going to give you a frontline story here. And especially now for January and now the first couple weeks in February, it's accelerating. So I'd say we're up just in the last, again, 75 days on a good quality condos, 1 bedrooms downtown, Mount Pleasant, Kitsilano, 6-7%. And that's usually the way it goes. I've talked about this before. Condo markets and real estate markets in general tend to go in these massive jolts up. They might, stay flat for a year, then all of a sudden take a 10 or 15% jolt in a matter of 4 or 5 months. Or in some cases, you might have a slow rise up, but it generally works in jolts and then maybe a slower rise up. Where it'll go moving forward into 2022, we'll see. I think inventory is going to stay low. Interest rates are going to go up, but they're still going to be relatively low to our 10-year history. I think moving forward, we're probably going to see condo prices continue to go up another 1 or 1.5% month over month here. And again, that's already from a bump of about at least 5 to 6% in the last 60 to 75 days. So again, the situation is, especially for the good condos, they're as rare as hen's teeth. Everything that gets listed right now with me on the listing side, or if I'm representing the buyer, we're in competition on everything. And we're getting the situation here where there's a lot of buyers, of course. Many of them are principal residence buyers. They're not speculators. Most of them aren't investors. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. A lot of them have been outbid multiple times. And of course, I've talked about this. When you get your head handed to you on 2 or 3 units that you bid on and lost out on, you tend to get more aggressive as you go. The other thing is, if the realtors are doing the proper job for them, you need to also assess where the market is going. If a market is trending flat, well, if you miss one, it's tough, but hey, the market's kind of just flatlined. Or if the market's even going down, well, hey, if you lose out on it, maybe next month or 2 months from now, it might even be less. But that's not the way it's going. It's going up 1.5%, 2% month over month. So that $700,000 condo you missed out on today could be $710,000, $715,000 at this time next month. And I think that's going to continue all the way through the spring into the summer. Eventually the music will stop. Eventually interest rates will go up. But for right now, this is where it's at. Condo market prices trending up sharply right now. Give you a case in point here, and I can't get into tons of the specifics on this. I'd like to, but for various reasons, a lot of it has to do with me and how I negotiate deals for my clients, how I write offers subject free, how I can get out of the blind bidding and get into a counter offer situation with a hard number. I've developed this over the last 10 or 15 years. I'm not going to start giving instructions on how to handle offers. For that, you're going to have to hire me. But I'll give you a quick synopsis here. Good unit in downtown Vancouver. Boutique building. I know this building very well. I've had lots of sales in this building. I've got principal residence buyers in this building, and I've also got investor buyers. Unit gets hit, listed for $700K. They're doing holdbacks. We looked at the unit. The unit was good. A good floor plan. I know this floor plan. I actually had the last sale of this floor plan about a year and a half ago. They're doing holdbacks, showing it for the week. The property is tenanted. Does not show well. It never does when it's tenanted. It's dirty. The unit could definitely use some TLC, that's for sure. Some handles on the counters are loose. Paint. I noticed some water damage underneath the sink. Cosmetic things, nothing too serious, but it could use some TLC. The other thing with this unit is it was still under a fixed term tenancy, which is kind of crazy. Tenancy still ran until June 1st. So if someone wanted to buy this to move in, you're not able to move into this until June 1st at the earliest. If you're an investor, which my client was, you've got to assume the tenancy. And to make things worse, there was a management agreement attached to it that took me a while to get the contract on so I could figure out what the terms of the contract were and if we could get out of this management contract after the year lease came up. That was a whole other thing. I had to write in some clauses in the contract to protect my buyer from that. Long story short, here we go. They got 4 offers on the home. If this hadn't been tenanted, if this unit was vacant, cleaned up, ready to move in, they would have had 10 offers on this. But that's why I like to go after these ones. Because instead of 10 offers, it's only me and 3 others. So it's a good opportunity. My client on this is a long-term friend and investor client of mine. Very smart guy, sold him lots of condos. He's an investor. He's not a speculator. He's going to buy this unit, add it to his portfolio, put a tenant in it, and keep it for 15, 20, 30 years, and then have a look at it when it's all paid off, after the tenants have paid it off for him. Here's where it gets tricky here. We came in subject free. Realtor calls me half an hour after the offers are due. Hey, Owen, we like your offer, subject free, but I'll let you know that we've got an outlier offer, which is very common these days. In other words, it's blowing my offer as far as money goes, offer price, out of the water. But it's got all the subject clauses, subject to financing, subject to inspection, reading all the strata docs, all that other good stuff. We like your offer, of course, because it's subject free. Any room on your price? We'll give you a chance to revise. Well, I'm not going to revise when I've got the best, when I've got a subject-free offer and I'm competing against a subject offer. You counter it back for me. Give me a number. I'm not going to blind bid on it. They gave us an offer back, which we countered back again, and we always set a strike price whenever I go into an investment unit. We have a price that we'll set. If we can get it at that price or less, we're going for it. Once it goes over that, we're not going to chase it, because again, we're not a principal residence buyer here. We're an investor. This is something we're not going to fall in love with. The numbers have to make sense. Long story short here, we ended up getting an agreement verbally, and verbal doesn't mean anything. That yes, we'll take that counter offer verbally, but there was a few other little minor things in the contract we had to tighten up. Some dates, a few clauses that we needed to get initialed back and forth, etc. Took about half an hour to get that through. She asked me to send it back to her. We make the changes and counter it, and her seller to sign off on it. Sent it off, didn't hear anything for about 25-30 minutes. She called me back. Hate to do this, Owen, but the offer with subjects, that high offer that really blew us away, they've removed all their subjects. And hey, what can you do? Congratulations. Wow. But let me tell you, that is so incredibly rare, where a buyer will write an offer with subjects, and sure, you gotta wow that seller with that price. So you better be coming in with a fantastic price. But they're doing that to compensate for these subjects. When a person writes with subjects, there's a good reason they have to write with subjects. Their financing, they need to get approved, and they're not 100% sure on it, or they're right up at their limit. Not sure where it's going to appraise at, and I can tell you this, we're talking over $60,000 over asking on this unit. They probably haven't read the strata docs, because they'll do that during the subject removal time. With me, I've already done all my due diligence. I've already read all the docs. I know this strata. We know exactly what we're buying. That's why we can go in subject free. But this shows you how crazy this market is right now, where they will give them half an hour. They're told that, hey, sorry, we love your offer. It's a great price, but I'm going to work with an offer that's subject free. Milled it over for half an hour. So reading between the lines, what happened? Well, I guess maybe they could have gotten a co-signer together, talked to their parents. That is a big, bold move to remove all your subject clauses. As a matter of fact, I have only seen this a few times in my career. Last time I saw this was over 10 years ago. Because when I get offers, and I've got subject free, and the best offer is with subjects, the first step a realtor is going to do is go to that high offer and say, hey, like your offer, don't like your subjects. You're competing against a subject-free offer. Can you remove your subjects? The answer 99.99% of the time is no. And that's what I would expect them to say. There's a reason why they're giving you that crazy price, because they need to have the subjects in there. They're not sure about the financing. They haven't read the docs. They haven't read the depreciation report yet. They need time for that. But we'll try and wow you with this price. So it's very rare, but reading between the lines, I can tell you the situation, I'm seeing more and more of this. This is probably a first-time buyer, principal residence buyer, who was probably lost out on multiple homes. This is a good unit, and you're asking yourself, well, when is the next good unit like this going to come around? And also, if it's not for a couple more months for one of these real good quality units, where's the price going to be at? Is it going to be up another $15,000 or $20,000? Right now, it looks like it probably would, the way the market's trending right now. So they lay the gauntlet down. I'm not going to lose another one. Call back that listing realtor and tell them, hey, we're going to remove all our subjects. Give me 10 minutes and I'm going to write you a clean offer. It's a tough one for me to lose, but it's fair. All is fair in real estate, and that was a fair deal. We didn't have anything signed back yet. It sucked because it was right there for me and my client. My client understands. We're going to move on to the next one. For all you realtors out there too, I know I have a lot of realtors in Vancouver and all over California, New York that follow me, experienced realtors, new realtors. Get used to this. This, is a tough one. I lose these too. I win, fortunately, a lot more than I lose. But this is like water off a duck's back for me and my clients. We'll just move on. We had it's a tough loss to do, but you got to move on. And that's part of being a realtor. You're going to get these tough breaks with these losses. But that shows you kind of where this market is at right now. And again, that is so rare for a buyer to write a crazy high offer with subjects, then find out that, hey, we're not going to work with your offer. We're right now working with a subject-free offer, to regroup and remove all your subjects. But that's the market we're in now. Give you a quick last little bit on this thing. This is where these prices are going now. You see, you're getting these multiple offer situations. You're getting some people that have had their heads handed to them many times. The fear of missing out is high now. They're not going to lose another one. I'm going to put all my chips in. I'm all in on this one. I'm dropping my subjects. I don't care. And they do have a point here, because remember, this market is trending up. It's not trending down. Inventory is at a 30-year low. These good units are as rare as hen's teeth. When is the next one going to come around? And again, only 4 offers on this one. If this unit had been empty and cleaned up and ready to move in vacant, they would have had 10 offers on this. So when you really think about it, actually, the price those people got, they paid a premium, but probably not a bad deal. I would have done the same thing if I was their realtor. If you could have removed those subjects, though, that's the crazy part. There probably was some loose ends to tie up there that they took a chance on, probably in reading the docs and things like that, but it is what it is. But, you know, that price was substantially above the last sold in that building, and that will now set the new benchmark price for the next listing that comes out, or very close to it. So that's where you're getting these, you know, 3, 4, 5% over the last 35, 40-day price jumps. And I think that's the way it's going to go here moving into the spring and into the summer. Eventually, these interest rate hikes will take place. 25 basis points isn't going to do anything, but 2 or 3 or 4 of those probably will. But in the meantime, you know, the $700,000 condo by June could be going for $750,000 very easily. And this is what happens. Detached usually leads the way. Condos are late to the party. Now the condos are starting to make that ground up a little bit. But again, what I'm trying to get through here is condo prices in downtown Vancouver, Kitsilano, Mount Pleasant, Olympic Village are on a rip here. They are going up. New high watermarks are being set now. All my listings now that I'm putting out for condos are setting a new high. I'm listing them at where that last high was sold. And that's what gives you these big jolts in prices. For every good condo, there's 10 buyers, and many of these buyers, of course, have lost out on multiple offers and are getting, of course, and I don't blame them, they're getting more and more aggressive as you go. Case in point, a crazy high offer with subjects. They find out they're out of the running. Hold up. Let me make some phone calls. Let me call my mom. Let me call my banker, whatever. And we're going to drop all our subjects. Very rare to have that happen. Only in an ultra hot market do you see that kind of thing. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, I'll see you next week.